StudyIQ IAS, आपका सिलेक्शन हमारा मिशन।
नमस्कार। समय समय पर मैंने इस बात पर बल दिया है कि यदि आप सिविल सेवा परीक्षा में उत्तीर्ण होना चाहते हैं, इफ यू वांट टू क्वालिफाई फॉर द सिविल सर्विस एग्जामिनेशन, इट इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू डेवलप योर कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स। मैंने इस बात पर बल दिया है कि आप चाहे जितना पढ़ लें, यू मे स्टडी अ लॉट, यू मे एक्वायर अ लॉट ऑफ नॉलेज, बट अल्टीमेटली व्हाट मैटर्स इज what you write in the examination, what you speak during the course of personality test. Your marks will be given to you not merely on the basis of what sits in your head here, but primarily on the basis of what you write and what you speak. And hence, it is important to develop communication skills. For developing communication skills, I had also mentioned that you should read an editorial article aloud every day without failure. Thereafter, write what you've read and spoken in your own words. All this is important to improve your communication skills. The other aspect of improving communication skills is group discussions. Today, we will primarily discuss on the importance, the necessity, and the manner in which you should have group discussions. I am glad that StudyIQ is facilitating creation of smaller groups for group discussions. But let me tell you why group discussions. It is not merely in terms of improving communication skills. Of course, that's a very important objective of it. It also helps you remember what you've read. You would recall that in one of my previous presentations, I had mentioned that many of aspirants face this problem of recalling what they've read. आप पढ़ते हैं, भूल जाते हैं। मेरे साथ भी होता था, आज भी होता है कि पढ़ के भूल जाते हैं। उसको याद कैसे रखें? याद रखने के लिए I had suggested that when you read, you should focus on what you're reading. You absolutely focus. You should remove all the disturbance that you have around you. You should try and understand what you're reading. And then you should reflect on what you've read. And finally, what I had said was that you should discuss what you've read. So in a group discussion, if you discuss something which you are trying to recall, the chances are you'll be able to recall. Discussion and teaching is the best way to remember what you've already read. And hence, what's the group discussions that I'm proposing and suggesting, and I've been suggesting, is primarily to improve your communication skills, but also will help you recall and remember what you've already read.
Interview has played a big role in my getting the name in the holy PDF, and I would like to thank our mentor Shri Anil sir and StudyIQ that they come up with that unique idea that we should create a group of 4 to 5 people and let them have group discussion daily on the international affairs, or what the Trump is thinking, what will be the next move.
Group discussions will enable you to structure your thoughts. Because in a group, when you discuss and when you speak, you have to speak logically. You have to speak rationally. You will have to listen to others. You will have to assimilate what has been told to you, what you've read, and then analyze it in your mind and then present it. So group discussions helps you to prepare for the civil service examination, not merely in terms of improving your communication skills, but organizing your thoughts as well. Once you start speaking regularly, once you are able to structure your thoughts, once you are able to express your thoughts while speaking, it will be easy for you to write those thoughts when the occasion arises. It is something which you have to cultivate over a period of time. You know, improvement in communication skills does not happen overnight. It requires a lot of practice. One of the drills that I have suggested earlier is in terms of reading the editorial article aloud, and the second part of is group discussions. How does it happen, group discussion? What we have tried to do here in StudyIQ is to constitute WhatsApp group of aspirants of around 7 or 8 in number. The approach would be that there would be a topic decided by the group itself for every day. On the day of discussion, there will be a principal speaker, again decided by the group itself. That principal speaker will speak on that topic for 10 minutes, for which he would have had to prepare. Now, by preparing for this topic, he will not merely able to acquire knowledge relating to that particular subject. He will have to think in terms of presenting his point of view logically, rationally, and in a manner that it becomes intelligible to those that are listening. This again will become a habit. So the person making the presentation for 10 minutes will have to do a lot of preparation. He'll have to prepare for that particular topic. In preparing that topic, not only will his knowledge levels increase, he will also have to think in terms of how to make that presentation in 10 minutes. Again, as I keep repeating, it has to be structured in a manner that it becomes intelligible to the people that he's talking to. He is able to present his point so as to convince those that are listening to him. And as I have said earlier in many of the other recordings, that not only should you be able to state what you want to state, you have to present it in a manner that you are able to convey and convince people who are listening to you. So you'll have to develop arguments. So if you want to develop such skills, this is the practice that you will need to adopt. So the principal speaker will speak for 10 minutes, and principal speaker will be selected by rotation every day. Every day there will be a different speaker. After he's spoken, the other members in the group will comment in a minute or 2 minutes each, and then there can be an open discussion. All this is extremely important because if you do it regularly, you will continue to acquire knowledge on various topics that are brought up for discussion. It's important because every day there will be a new topic, and topic will be, it could be current affairs or it will be a philosophical topic. Once you do all that, then approaching not merely in the context of your general studies, it will help you in your ethics paper. It will help you in your essay writing because your thoughts will start becoming structured. Structuring of your thoughts is extremely important. As I keep saying, you may acquire knowledge by reading, but unless you are able to structure a thought and finally you are able to communicate that both in writing as well as in speech, it doesn't serve the purpose of the UPSC civil service examination. The purpose gets served if you are able to structure each of the idea that you have in a manner that it becomes presentable to the person you are either writing or speaking to. So group discussion, if you do it daily, and my suggestion to all of you is, daily is important. This discipline is important. It is like medicine. If you don't do it every day, probably you will not get into the habit. So on the one hand, whereas your knowledge will improve, that is the advantage number one of a group discussion, because on each topic when there is a discussion, you'll get to know a lot. Second, you will become rational and logical in your presentation. This is the second aspect of it. Third, you will get into the habit of being able to recall what you've read, something which you forget. If you discuss, you'll be able to recall. And finally, the biggest advantage is improvement in your communication skills. The moment you start expressing freely and without any hindrance your ideas that sit in your mind, you will be able to then write answers as well, because the knowledge that you acquire over a period of time, and every aspirant gets down to reading a lot of books, he acquires a lot of knowledge. But the point is whether your mind is processing that knowledge in a manner that you are able to answer that question. This again comes through habit. Once you do it every day, then you will see the improvement gradually. It will happen over a period of time. It won't happen overnight. Initially, when you will participate in discussions, you will fumble. Probably you will not even remember what you thought you would speak. The ideas will not flow fluently from your mouth. But let me assure you, from my personal experience and experience of many such aspirants who are presently IAS, IFS, IPS officers, who come back to me and tell me, sir, that group discussion was extremely, extremely helpful to us. And hence, may I suggest to you, become a part of that group that is indulging in discussion, and not only become a part of that group, indulge in these discussions every day without failure. You will find a reason not to do that, but I would suggest find a reason to be a part of these group discussions. I'm sure once you do that for about a month or 2 months, you will yourself continuously do that. This will not merely help you to get into civil service. It will help you to become a better civil servant. I have often said that communication skills are not merely necessary and important for you to qualify for civil service examination. If you do want to become a successful civil servant, you have to improve your communication skills. And one such instrument of improving communication skills is group discussion. Even if you're not appearing right now for the civil service examination, get into the habit of group discussions. It will help you. God bless you. Take care and all the best.
StudyIQ IAS, आपका सिलेक्शन हमारा मिशन।